You can only lead them from behind. Especially for those of us who lived in single cells, you had the time to sit down and think, and we discovered that sitting down just to think is one of the best ways of keeping yourself fresh and able to address the problems facing you, and you had the opportunity, also, of examining your past. The titanic effort that has brought liberation to South Africa and ensured the total liberation of Africa constitutes an act of redemption for the black people of the world. Prison life, fortunately, I spent a lot of years, about 18 years with other prisoners, and, as I say, they enriched your soul. I really wanted to retire and rest and spend more time with my children, my grandchildren, and of course with my wife. Even if you have a terminal disease, you don't have to sit down and mope. Enjoy life and challenge the illness that you have. I will not leave South Africa, nor will I surrender. Only through hardship, sacrifice, and militant action can freedom be won. The struggle is my life. I will continue fighting for freedom until the end of my days. Our single most important challenge is therefore to help establish a social order in which the freedom of the individual will truly mean the freedom of the individual. Unlike some politicians, I can admit to a mistake. At the outset, I want to say that the suggestion that the struggle in South Africa is under the influence of foreigners or communists is wholly incorrect. I have done whatever I did because of my experience in South Africa and my own proudly felt African background, and not because of what any outsider might have said. As an attorney, I could be rather flamboyant in court. I did not act as though I were a black man in a white man's court, but as if everyone else, white and black, was a guest in my court. When trying a case, I often made sweeping gestures and used high-flown language. I can't pretend that I'm brave and that I can beat the whole world. Leaders in all spheres who are living with HIV should be encouraged, not coerced, to lead by example and disclose their HIV status. I made a mistake by being ejected from the presidency. Next time, I will choose a cabinet which will allow me to be life president. Apart from life, a strong constitution, and an abiding connection to the Thembu royal house, the only thing my father bestowed upon me at birth was a name, Roli Hlahla. Let us give publicity to HIV/AIDS and not hide it, because the only way to make it appear like a normal illness like TB, like cancer, is always to come out and say somebody has died because of HIV/AIDS, and people will stop regarding it as something extraordinary. If you are poor, you are not likely to live long. I started to make a study of the art of war and revolution and, whilst abroad, underwent a course in military training. If there was to be guerrilla warfare, I wanted to be able to stand and fight with my people and to share the hazards of war with them. I came across few whites as a boy at Kunu. The local magistrate, of course, was white, as was the nearest shopkeeper. Occasionally, white travelers or policemen passed through our area. These whites appeared as grand as gods to me, and I was aware that they were to be treated with a mixture of fear and respect. I have been influenced in my thinking by both West and East. From the beginning, Mandela and Tambo was besieged with clients. We were not the only African lawyers in South Africa, but we were the only firm of African lawyers. For Africans, we were the firm of first choice and last resort. I was first imprisoned in Pretoria, and then, thereafter, I was taken to Robben Island. I stayed there for a couple of weeks. I was taken back to Pretoria when I was charged in the Rivonia trial, when I was then sent to Robben Island for life. I am confident that nobody will accuse me of selfishness if I ask to spend time, while I am still in good health, with my family, my friends, and also with myself. The names of Dingane and Bambata, Hintsa and Makana, Skungthi and Dalasile, Moshoeshoe and Sekukuni were praised as the glory of the entire African nation. I hoped then that life might offer me the opportunity to serve my people and make my own humble contribution to their freedom struggle. The United States has made serious mistakes in the conduct of its foreign affairs, which have had unfortunate repercussions long after the decisions were taken. I realized quickly what Mandela and Tambo meant to ordinary Africans. It was a place where they could come and find a sympathetic ear and a competent ally, a place where they would not be either turned away or cheated, a place where they might actually feel proud to be represented by men of their own skin color. Sabotage did not involve loss of life, and it offered the best hope for future race relations. Bitterness would be kept to a minimum, and, if the policy bore fruit, democratic government could become a reality. Whatever position I occupied, it was the result of colleagues, of my comrades in the movement, who had decided in their wisdom to use me for the purpose of focusing the attention of the country and the international community on me. The education I received was a British education, in which British ideas, British culture, British institutions were automatically assumed to be superior. There was no such thing as African culture. I have always regarded myself, in the first place, as an African patriot. There are many people in South Africa who are rich and who can share those riches with those not so fortunate who have not been able to conquer poverty. Before I went to jail, I was active in politics as a member of South Africa's leading organization, and I was generally busy from 7 a.m. until midnight. I never had time to sit and think. I would wear the blue overalls of the field worker and often wore round rimless glasses known as Maserati tea glasses. I had a car, and I wore a chauffeur's cap with my overalls. The pose of chauffeur was convenient because I could travel under the pretext of driving my master's car. Sometimes I feel like one who is on the sidelines, who has missed life itself.